1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good afternoon, Starts. My name is Matthew Edwards. Today I'll be giving a persuasive speech on snowboarding. But not just on snowboarding, but why snowboarding is better than skiing. Okay? So the thesis of my speech is that I have three reasons why snowboarding is better than skiing. The first is that snowboarding in general is safer than skiing. Okay? Number two is that there's a saying that goes, it's easier to learn to ski but harder to master. So for snowboarding, it's harder to learn but easier to master. Okay? And the third thesis statement is that, snowboarding is just way cooler. It's way hipper, if you will. All right? So let me start off with a little story. So the first time I ever went to a ski area or a resort, I went to Winter Park, Colorado. I went for a chorus competition, okay? And we were bussed up to the mountain. We were fortunate enough to have our rental equipment paid for us, okay? And the majority of us, I didn't really have a choice, I guess. It just, we weren't given a choice between skiing and snowboarding. We were just given skis. We were fitted with ski boots and poles and skis. So I got on the chairlift with my friends. We rode the chairlift up, and I don't know how it happened, but I was able to get off the chairlift just fine. I didn't crash like you'd think, because it's pretty intimidating when you come off the chairlift. So when I got to the top, I noticed that my friends kind of dispersed. They just scattered. They went down the mountain without me, and so it was up to me to make it down to the bottom. Okay, so I was doing the method, the pizza. If you pizza when you French fry, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, so I was pizzaing down the mountain, and I just wasn't picking it up. I was crashing. I was getting really frustrated, and I had a really bad day that day. I ended up walking down in my ski boots, sliding down the mountain. Okay, so several years after that, I was given a snowboard by a friend. And one thing we used to do is we used to hike up the mountain at our hometown ski area, and we'd hike up and then we would ride down, so we wouldn't have to buy a lift ticket. And I picked up snowboarding, and it was actually very difficult for me at first. I would fall, I would get very frustrated, but I kept with it, and I got better and better. And eventually there was a feeling when I'd be riding and I'd almost wipe out or almost catch an edge, and then I would balance myself and catch myself, and that feeling is what kept me riding, kept me going. Okay, so my first thesis, right? So safety. So according to Joe Tweedy, writing for Daily Mail, snowboarders are 30% less likely to be killed than skiers because the risk of collisions with fixed objects where someone is going at a relatively high speed was greater on skis. All right. It's also known that skiers have a higher chance of having knee injuries due to they have 4 edges and they don't have the stability as a snowboarder who's strapped in with just 2 edges. Okay. The second thesis statement is harder to learn, easy to master. So according to Sam Murphy, a writer at The Guardian, one can quickly become a good snowboarder due to the fact that there is less equipment to come to grips with, and you can get away with mistakes more easily. Once you get it, you'll be able to take on the mountain. Okay? So snowboarding is something that is a lot easier to grasp, easier concept. Okay? Less equipment, easier to stay together. The last and final thesis is that it's just way cooler. And I have 3 points to this, all right? So the gear, the clothes are cooler, and thus nowadays young skiers copy the fashion of snowboarders, all right? The culture is more hip. A snowboarder shredding the gnar, if you will, right? Shredding the powder, okay? Looks way cooler than a skier skiing down the mountain, okay? All right. So in conclusion, snowboarding is better than skiing, and I presented 3 thesis statements. Okay. So I thank you all for being here in the audience, and this concludes my speech. Thank you.